I'm going to be very straight up with you. I am not. I don't bake very much. I don't, make a whole lot of batters. So this recipe, I'll post it on the team's channel. The actual recipe for the crepes comes from Food Network. If you do a search for Alton Brown and just type in crepes, it's his simple recipe, and he even makes it even easier because he usually uses a blender to do this, but because I don't want to have to wash all the parts of a blender and get all those, get everything out, I'm just going to use a mixing bowl and a whisk. So let's go ahead and get started with that. The amazing thing with crepes, all you do is just throw everything in the bowl, mix them up, and then you're ready to go. So first thing, let's crack our eggs into the mixing bowl. So again, you can look up this crepe recipe on Food Network, Alton Brown. It's 2 eggs. Just go ahead and crack those up, get them in, and then just add in the rest of your ingredients. Add in first eggs. You're gonna go, there's water, there's milk, there is melted butter, somebody's calling my cell phone right now, so we're going to try to cancel that, and then won't disturb. My son just put my iPhone on mute there. Okay, there's melted butter, and then after that, all you have to do is add in your flour, and just go ahead and mix until you don't see any bumps and lumps in your batter. So go ahead and give it a good whisk. If you want to follow Alton Brown's recipe, what he actually, he throws it all into a blender, pulses it for about 10 seconds based on his recipe, and then it's pretty much done. Now we're going to have a batter here. In Alton Brown's recipe, he says that you want to leave it, let it sit for about an hour before using it because you want any air bubbles in the batter to disappear before you actually start anything. And what you need here as you mix, see, it's pretty much it's all mixed in. There are no lumps in it, but what you'll see, there are actually air bubbles in the batter. So since there are air bubbles in the batter, you want this batter to sit to the side for a little bit. So we're actually I made another batch earlier, so we're going to put this one aside. We'll use the other batch that's sat for over an hour so that the bubbles are gone. Crepes are such a thin kind of pastry, or the. So with the batter, crepes are so thin. Crepes are so thin. What you want to do is let it sit, or else the crepes will rip. Okay, so we're going to put this aside. We're not going to make the crepes right now. We're actually going to make the fillings of the crepes. So Addison's going to take that away, and then we're going to shift over to the secondary camera so that we can actually start making our fillings. My producer left the kitchen, and so I can't change cameras right now. So give me 1 minute here. This is a new setup, so we're going to actually shift over. Okay, he's going to go to our secondary camera, and we're going to make a filling. Crepes are amazing because you can add anything inside you want. So we're actually going to make an apple, just basically like an apple pie filling. And so we're going to get that turned on, and then we're going to drop in the apples, and then we're going to also add in a slice of butter, and we're going to start kind of cooking those apples down. So basically, you're going to make an apple-filled an apple-filled sweet crepe. We also have a whole bunch of other fillings. We just happen to have apples in the house. So of course you can't go wrong with adding butter into the pot there as we cook it down. And then as the butter melts, we're going to go ahead and add in some, we're going to add in some sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. So there you go, it's already boiling, and then we're gonna, here's your sugar, some cinnamon, and some nutmeg. You can make it as sweet as you want, add in as much cinnamon as you would like, and add in some nutmeg. Really, nutmeg, it's like a 1/8 of a teaspoon. Cinnamon, maybe a half a teaspoon, and then you probably have about 1 tablespoon of sugar. Okay, so as that cooks down, let's turn down the heat a little bit. Addison's helping me out here. Okay, so then that's just one filling that we're going to be able to put in. And then what's really great about it, you can see that it's actually starting to brown and it's actually caramelizing. And so we're going to actually take those off right now, and we're going to put them off to the side, and we're going to make our second filling. So that's all that you really need. We're going to bring it over to another stove to just let it cook down for a couple minutes. And then we're going to start our second filling. Our second filling is going to be, we're going to fill this with some seafood. Again, this is a COVID-19 stay-at-home. What I had in the refrigerator. Matthew, different camera?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. What we're using is the whatever I had in my freezer and refrigerator. We had some shrimp. We also had some whitefish. We just had a little bit of tilapia. You can add some olive oil into the pan. We're gonna just add in some of our just some garlic for aromatic. And then we're gonna brown up the garlic a little bit. And as we brown up the garlic, just make sure that the garlic does not burn. And we're just going to go ahead and add in our seafood. Okay, so this is it's going to take a couple minutes to just cook. Seafood, really, you got to make sure you're not going to overcook it. So you just stir that up. We're going to add in again, we'll add in some basic seasoning. We have some black pepper. Again, use the fresh ground variety. If you use the one in the jar that, you know, is already pre-ground, it doesn't taste like anything. And then just, of course, a little pinch of salt. And then, again, as the shrimp becomes, you can tell when the shrimp and fish, it starts to turn white. And I'm going to add in some liquid in here, just to add a little bit more flavor to just to kind of deglaze the pan with that. All right, and your seafood's done. So let me turn this off. And then now we're going to move into actually making our crepes. So we have two fillings already. We have a seafood filling for our crepes, which is going to be a savory crepe. And then we also have some basic apple pie filling, so to speak. And then we're going to go ahead and use that. So we have sweet and savory crepes. So let me just move this out of the camera. And let's bring down our crepe pan. One thing, some of my nonstick pans were actually went bad, so I actually ordered this pan this last week so we can use it just to make the crepes. We're gonna go ahead and fire up the burner, and what we're gonna do is actually just use here a stick of butter that I can actually hold, and with the stick of butter, I'm just going to swirl it in the pan just to give a nice thin layer in this nonstick pan. And with that nonstick, as the pan heats up, we're going to go ahead and make our crepe here. So here's the batter that I actually had sitting, and the bubbles have kind of settled down. So this was in the fridge for about an hour before we started the show. And then I'm just going to put one ladle in, and then because it's a nonstick pan, I'm going to be able to just swirl it, because for a crepe you want it to be a very, very thin, I don't want to call it, but just a thin pancake, but it's a crepe, right? But you don't want to make it too thick. Now, it's going to flip pretty quickly, and we're going to turn down the heat a little bit more. And then if you're good at this, I'm going to attempt this on camera. We're going to actually do a flip. Oh, missed a little bit there. It's actually not too bad. And then there's our first crepe. Get that piece that fell off there. Okay, we'll try that again and see if we do a better job. Okay, and there's your first crepe. So let's go ahead and make a couple of these. Again, if you're going to start here, the crepe recipe that Alton Brown has actually allows you to make like 20 crepes, so you don't need to make a whole lot of batter. What happened? Oh, yeah. Let's wipe that out. Pan was a little bit too hot. Let's get a paper towel here and then take out that oil. Let's try that again. So just make sure your pan is not there. Just a little swirl. Oh, it's still too hot. Let's turn that down. My burner here, we're not used to it. It's a camping stove actually that we're using on the counter. Let's wipe that out again. And let's make our other crepe. Oh, there we go. That's much better. And then there's just one ladle. Get it to swirl the batter around. And then it doesn't take very long. It's just a couple seconds. It's already done. And then let me try the flip again. All right, there we go. All right, we'll just make a couple of these. Again, it makes 20-something crepes, and we don't actually need that many. Well, at least we will, because my family will eat this for lunch, which they actually like the show. So last week they ate up all of the 1 ton, and then this week they'll have crepes for lunch. Okay, just a couple seconds. Let's slide that off, and let's just make about 2 more, because we're gonna have be able to show you how we're gonna actually finish these off and then fill the crepes. Okay, there's your butter. Again, it's on a really low heat. At this point, the burner's barely on. If I take off the pan, you probably won't even see the flame. And that's how fast these crepes actually cook. Okay, let's go ahead and just swirl that. Okay, so if you look, you can't even, there's not even a visible flame. It's so low. So let's let that one cook, and then we'll make maybe 2 more after this. All right. And so that we can actually go ahead and finish up the crepes and then go ahead and stuff them. Okay, when you actually look at the recipe for the crepes, there's actually is not sweetened. If you wanted to sweeten the crepe batter with a little bit of sugar and vanilla because you're going to make a more sweet crepes, that's fine. If you're actually going to make a savory crepe, you can actually add like chives. You can add fresh herbs into the batter, which is also to give it a different, but we just basically went with the basic crepe. All right, let's do another flip. Oh, that one didn't go. Let's use this and let's, oh, that did not work there. Okay, they're so thin. The other ones I was able to flip. Let's see if I can salvage that one. And let's get it flipped here. All right, there we go. Okay, let's make one more after this, and then we'll start showing you how you can finish these crepes off. All right, let's slide this off. Let's make one more. Again, you can see we actually use quite a bit of butter, which is fine. All right, let's make one more. 1 ladle of batter. Let's go ahead and swirl it in the pan so that you get a nice thin layer. Okay, we're actually going to go ahead and fill these with, again, we'll start off with the savory crepe. The savory crepe, we did a seafood, so it was a white fish with some shrimp, just sauteed in some butter and some liquid to kind of deglaze the pan. And then we actually, on the side, before we started the show, we actually made some lobster bisque cream sauce that's going to go into so let me see, let's flip. There we go. My 2 other ones were a lot better, but didn't rip, which is actually fine. All right, let's go ahead and those are done. And so we're going to finish off now. So I'm going to put this on the cutting board. So there's our crepe. And then what we can do, I put it on the board. Let's lift this up and carefully put it on our plate. We're going to actually plate it on. Let's go ahead and do our savory crepe first. We have our seafood that we made, and we're just going to take that and go ahead and put it into our crepe. And then again, this was actually episode number 2. We actually taught you how to make a white cream sauce, because we were making homemade macaroni and cheese. And with the homemade macaroni and cheese, we said that you could do a whole bunch of different things with that cream sauce. So we actually made a kind of a seafood-based cream sauce flavor. What you can do is you can peel your shrimp if it comes with the shells, and then you actually make a kind of a broth with the shrimp shells, just a shrimp broth. And then you make your base cream sauce. We said, remember, it was with flour, butter. You make a roux, add your milk, and then we also put in some lobster base. Lobster base is just basically a very concentrated lobster paste that actually creates an amazing seafood flavor, so that when you actually create your sauce. So we have here your seafood in there. We actually have our cream sauce that was made earlier, and then we're just going to put a little bit and drizzle a little of that inside of your crepe. And then we're just going to fold the crepe. Just got to roll it. And once it's rolled, Addison's going to come in and she's going to actually how would you say that, Addison? We're making some really fine cuts of basil. So she's cutting up that basil so that we can actually place it on top of the crepe. And then if you like, before you could put the basil on, and then you can also go ahead and drizzle. You could drizzle some extra sauce on top. All right, there you have that. That's your first savory crepe. And then let's put this aside here. And then we're going to actually go ahead and let's plate another one. We have all of these other amazing ingredients because we just, again, have them in the house. We have fresh blueberries. We have some fresh strawberries. So whatever you like, but since we have the fresh berries, let's do the apple filling one first. So again, let's bring in our the crepes we made. We're going to put them down, and then Addison is going to go ahead and help me fill that in. She's just going to add our apple pie filling in. And then also what we've also made some, before the show, we actually whipped up some fresh whipping cream. And so we're just going to take the whipping cream and we're actually going to put some inside. So it's fresh whipping cream with the apple pie filling. So, I mean, how can you go wrong with apple pie filling, fresh whipping cream inside of a crepe? And then so we're going to go ahead and just roll that up as well. There's your apple pie filled crepe. And put it on to the side. All right, and let's just make our last crepe here. So there's two here. You have your savory, you have your sweet. And again, if you have any fresh fruit in the house, go ahead, and then instead of us, we actually whipped up the fresh whipping cream. If you really want to, let's do our last crepe here. We have our last crepe, and then I guess what we have, we'll put in strawberries and blueberries. Why not? Strawberries and blueberries. And go ahead and put in the blueberries. And then again, a nice generous portion of whipped cream. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and let's fold that up as well. Oh, this one's awesome because it's all filled and it's super stuffed. All right, there's our strawberry blueberry crepe. And then let's just let's do a nice presentation. We'll just put some sliced strawberries. Put some sliced strawberries right on top. And then let's finish it off with a little some mint on there as well. So look at this. If you want to make crepes, it's really fast. The batter takes really 10 minutes to make. And if you really don't want to wait, the hour so that the bubbles kind of disappear in the batter, I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. I think your crepes will still come out perfectly fine, and everything's gonna taste great and amazing. So yes, my daughter just said, if you're listening, if you